Tasty, tasty. Incredible. Tasty, tasty.
Hey folks, good afternoon, good evening, good morning. Wherever you're at, I hope you're having a really great Sunday. It's stream time and I'm tired today. I'm really exhausted. But I have things to do. I'm losing my wedding ring. I've lost so much weight recently. My wedding ring keeps falling off, especially when my hands are damp. And I've just washed them after making a coffee. Anyway, yeah, I'm extremely tired. It's been a really long weekend, a really lovely long weekend. And I normally, if I got to this stage, I would just cancel the stream. But because it's the open day next week, I have to get this board built. And I don't think I'll get time during the week. So I am going to persevere and get the stream done. So thank you all for helping me persevere today. Jehovah gets first today. Congratulations. He's surprised that Reed isn't first. And so was I, to be fair. Storsless is here as well. So is Frankie1001. Telvin, good evening, my dear. Autonomy is here as well. Kevy Babes, Godzilla Waddle, Captain Malorite. Reed says, I didn't come first. You didn't. Mochief's here too. Chris Bezic, thank you so much, dude, for 43 months of subs. That's crazy. Cash money to Mr. Bezos, yes. ZPC, thank you so much for 4 months of subs as well, dude. I really appreciate that streak, dude. That's really kind of you. Thank you. Captain Redlack as well is here. V-Rug Dush too. Good evening, fellow keyboard enjoyers. Yeah. Tangus, I hate keyboards. Yeah, you're just grumpy old sod though, right? That's the thing. What's a keyboard? It's a musical instrument. Musical instruments are the name of the game here. Alvi, good evening, good sir. I hope your meetup went well on Saturday. Apologies I couldn't be there. I already had this trip booked and I was not able to attend, so I'm very sorry about that. Human going, doing the same joke I did. Yeah, those things that make music. Yeah, nice. Sean Wens, thank you so much for being here as well. A hymn of Thox and Clacks. Evening, yeah. Mr. Blackbrook, good evening, good sir. Thank you so much for a lovely weekend away. So for those that don't know, I went mountain climbing with Mr. Blackbrook and Mr. Kulane on Saturday. So we had a bit of a road trip. They both had longer journeys than me as well. We had a road trip. We climbed a mountain in wet weather and gale force winds and had to almost got blown off on a scramble. And we lost hats and all sorts of stuff. And then after that, we went to an Airbnb and we had a really lovely evening drinking some nice whiskies. And then we went out for dinner, which was fantastic. And then today we drove home after staying at the Airbnb last night. Oh, we also did a wild swim. Well, two of us did. One of us kind of did. At the Airbnb, there was like this stream at the bottom where you could go for a wild swim if you wanted. So Mr. Kulane and I managed to do that. Is it Kulane or Kulane? I don't know, because like he's one of the few people I tend to call by his real name than his tag, so it's difficult. Yeah, we did a wild swim, and and Chris did Mrs. Blackbrook did a wild paddle. But yeah, it was really good. It was fantastic. And I'm really tired now. Like, it hit me this afternoon. We went out for Sunday lunch on the way home, and it was lovely. Then I got home about, I think it was about 2ish, something like that, and I just wanted to crash out. My wife had some jobs for me to do and wanted to say hello, and then we walked the dog, and then it was time to come up to the workshop. So it's been a long day, and I'm ready for some sleep. My head will hit the pillow like a sack of rocks later on, I think. David from Cool Keys is here. Good evening, good sir. Thank you very much for being here. Exists and Kalena here as well. Mr. Blackbrook sends a love heart. Chaos 23 is here too. That latte heart is gorgeous. Well, I'm okay at latte art. I can kind of do little bits of latte art. Little bits. I can do some other ones as well. I can't do anything fancy like a swan or anything, but I can do like different bits and pieces. The lights are pushing out how detailed it is.
Tasty.
Yeah, there you go. What do you all have for dinner? Last night we had a mixture of things. I'll let Mr. Blackbrook and Mr. Kulane come up with a list of all the things we had for dinner, because my mind is a little bit shot right now. And today we had a Sunday lunch, which was delicious. Mr. Blackbrook, thank you so much for 41 months of subs. He says the 5G signal is so much better down here. That's a reference to the fact that where we were, we had no signal at all. There was no signal. We were literally on the side of a mountain, looking down into a valley, and then up another mountain. We also played with Mr. Clean's drone, which was fantastic. We scared some sheep from a mile away, which was great. Sounds like a top weekend, especially the whiskey part. Yeah, we had 3 different whiskies, I think, and we just hung out for a couple of hours drinking that, and then same after the pub as well. We had a few whiskies. It was nice. Yeah, tripping over them. I've appropriated the Irish, so you are better than me to say. Fair enough. You just doxed the guy who doxed the MK. Oh, sorry, I am terrible because like it's so hard to keep people's real names and things now. I apologise if I have that. I apologise. Be prepared for functional coffee next weekend. Yes, functional coffee. So next weekend is our open day. So birthday cakes in chat, please, because PT turned 6 years old yesterday. So yesterday was the anniversary of me getting the business license full prototype. So the company is now 6 years old, which is just insane to me and crazy. We're going to do some like fun things on Discord during the week, some fun giveaways and prizes and things like that, which would be nice. And then the big event will be our open day at the weekend coming. So on the 8th of November, we did run out of tickets. We had sold out of tickets, but I've had a couple of cancellations, and I've had a couple of people that bought wrong tickets and things like that. So we actually have about 8 or 9 tickets back in stock, I think, right now. So if you missed out on getting a ticket because they sold out, there's been a few restocked because there's been some cancellations. So yes, go get tickets so you can come to the PT workshop. They're £4. They're really cheap, and if you buy something on the day, you get the £4 knocked off. So yeah. And when we're doing it, Mr. Cullen and Mr. Blackbrook will be our baristas for the day. So they'll be using the full coffee machine setup, the espresso machine, and grinders, and making all of your coffees, because there's free coffee on the day as well, which will be obviously not Typist Brew. It'll be Jay's Roastery. So yeah. I'm just going to drink this now because I am really feeling tired now. I've probably got bags under my eyes here. I so need to come and coffee there one day. David, you have got a standing invitation, so please feel free. Just enjoying the last few hours of my birthday. Congratulations, Super Hens, for sharing a birthday weekend with PT. It's a wild honour. Jay's dulcet tones and the free key people send me for my special day. Blessed. Free starts with a 3. 300 quid and we'll sort something out, I'm sure. Jay's whiskey was brilliant. What I can't remember what we took. We had a Bruichladdich. What else did I bring? A Mickeltor, and I can't remember the third one. We didn't open the third one. We only opened 2. But yeah, everyone should just use their IRL name online. SMH. Well, my real name is not Jay. Jay is my initials, JAE. So everyone's just called me Jay for as long as I can remember. But my first name is actually Jonathan, and no one calls me that. So please don't. You did see your LinkedIn anniversary. Did I have that on LinkedIn? I didn't realize I did. But thank you for telling me I did. Who would buy the wrong ticket? A couple of people did. Happy birthday, PT, and thank you for the support of the mini-meet yesterday. We had some very excited winners. I'm glad, Alvy. I'm glad. I'm really, really glad you had a good day, dude. I did see some pictures. I'm sorry I wasn't about much yesterday. I had next to no connection most of the day. So I'm really glad you had a good time. It's always good to see that. Will Brackbook spill coffee all over the place just for me again? Did he spill coffee last time? I don't remember that. I'm an old hand with a grinder. You were this morning, good sir. Mr. Klein had a hand grinder for the coffee this morning. That's a weird motion, isn't it? He had a hand grinder for the coffee this morning, which was good. True Blaze, good evening. Talisker, yes, it was a bottle of Talisker, which we didn't open, but will be here for the SPC event after the open day. So if you are an SPC member and you bought an SPC ticket, you will be able to attend the evening function here at the PT Workshop after the meetup. And I will make sure there's some alcohol there, but please feel free to bring your own. Announcements coming about that this week. So yeah. Starts with a 1. My wife is an earshot. Yeah, it's like £1, right? Yeah. Sup Joe, thank you so much for being here, dude. And JQ as well. Sorry if I missed you before, dude. Right, okay, so PT news. The big stuff is it is PT's birthday this week, and as I say, we're going to be doing some giveaways and some prizes and some games and stuff like that all throughout the week. I'm going to try and do something on Discord every day. I'll try. I might not be able to do that, so I apologise in advance if I don't get to do it, because it's going to be quite busy this week. And then I have a ton of stuff to do. So I have all the usual things, like packing in stock orders, and there's a couple of group buys due to arrive. I think Beta and JS from GMK are due to arrive this week. I'm sure they're almost out for delivery in the next day or two. The Theseus boards we have just airshipped from China to the UK. I don't know when they're going to get here. We haven't checked the tracking since Friday, but they weren't in the country just yet on Friday. So if they arrive Monday or Tuesday, we'll get them shipped this week. If they arrive Wednesday onwards, they'll ship next week. That's basically how I'm going to have to draw a line, because it's just too complex to group by if we get to Wednesday for me to be able to find the time to do them. So that's what will happen there. There's also the Liberty Walk boards coming now. They are pretty easy because they're a self-sealed bundle, so we'll just be able to ship those out directly as soon as they arrive. So that's not too bad on those. Our next shipment is also, I just got the bill in for this yesterday, so our next shipment is due to hit port, not yesterday, Friday, very, very soon. So I need to get that bill paid tomorrow when the bank's open, and I can do all the transactions that I need to do. And then we'll get the bill of lading, which means we can actually claim the stuff on the ship that is ours, because that's just the process. And then that's going to arrive probably in about a week's time. So I think about a week on Monday to 2 weeks on Monday, that kind of time period. So what would that be? That's going to be, the next shipment should arrive, wait, where are we now? It'll be between the 10th and the 7th, well, 10th and the 21st, I think. It'll be somewhere in that kind of like 10-day window between the 10th and the 21st. Is my current best guess. There's a lot of stuff on that, and we'll just have to process that after the open day, because it won't arrive until after the open day. In terms of other things I need to get done this week, I also need to start 3D printing some stuff. I gave up with PETG last week because I was just having a nightmare with it. I've ordered a ton of PLA, which prints nicely. That should arrive tomorrow. It was with DHL on Saturday. I was getting pings every now and again when I had connection. So that should arrive tomorrow, I think, which means I can get the 3D printer back up and running, doing some goodies for the goodie bags. Tomorrow I'm also going to cut a lot of key rings to commemorate our 6th anniversary and the open day, and they'll go all in the goodie bags too. Yeah, and then there's a ton of other things that I need to do. On Friday, the big thing is setting up all the tables so you guys can display your boards and things like that, which would be great. And we'll have little cards that you can write the details on the spec of your card, of your boards down on. And I need to move the cars out of here into another unit. We're storing some of the cars in another unit, and then I'll set up all the tables as well. I think I'm here on my own on Friday, so I'll try and get all of that done as early as possible in the day, and then I can just kind of like lay everything out ready for the Saturday. The other things I need to do are set up our point of sale terminal. We do have one, but we don't use it very often because we don't have people buy stuff at the workshop very often. Usually we get people to order online and then collect, or if they buy offers, they just pay for it online. But we have a point of sale app, so we will use it on the day, so you can pay by card on the day. And I'm going to set up some automation, so if you already have a ticket, it will knock the £4 off your order, and it'll be valid once per customer because you bought your ticket. So that's how we're going to do that and automate it, just make it nice and easy. So there's a couple of hours work there. And then the fun thing, I need to finish my arcade cabinet. I've had a bit of a nightmare with this. So if you've been following along on Instagram, you'll see I've been building a sit-down arcade cabinet. The artwork came the other day, and I'd never really installed vinyl artwork before. I've done a reasonable job. I'm going to give myself an 8 out of 10 on it. There's a couple of little things I wish I'd done better. And I have made 2 big mistakes. The first one is I messed up some of the T-molding that goes and kind of covers like all of the sharp edges. I hammered it in at the wrong angle and damaged it, so I've got some Bondo to fill that and to re-put it in, and I'll clamp it all in place and that'll fix that. And then on the control panel where the buttons and the joystick's going to be, I tried to do something super, super clever, and it backfired. So what I wanted to do is I wanted to have the artwork on top of the control panel that shows like all of the different things from Final Fantasy VII's original PlayStation 1 game menu, so like the blue screen with the kind of grey borders and things. And I had an artist draw all that up for me. It looked great, and then I cut it all out and I stuck it down, and the idea was the plexiglass cover, the glass cover on top, I wanted to etch on the underside the same like words like player 1, player 2, items, menu, material, things like that, the phrases that I'd got on the kind of like borders around stuff. I wanted to etch them into the acrylic, so when I turned the RGBs and the switches on, everything would light up nicely. Unfortunately, when I laid the vinyl sheet down on cardboard and laid it over the top, it lined up perfectly. Unfortunately, when I put the vinyl sheet on, somehow I've shrunk it or contracted it or not kind of got it quite aligned properly, and now the plexiglass does not align. So I need to at some point undo it all and order the sticker again and redo it, or just put a plain piece of plexiglass in. But it's too late now. It's all built, and it means taking out every single switch and rewiring the whole thing. I've spent about 4 hours so far on evenings last week just wiring it, and it's still still got a couple of hours to go, and some of the cables need lengthening, which is great. Anyway, so we're going to get on with that, and hopefully if I get that finished, you guys will be able to have a play on it when it's here at the open day. There's also like a 5% chance we might have a sim racing rig here as well. I'll be speaking to a company locally called SimHound, and we're going to work on some products together, and they may or may not bring a sim rig over. We'll see if we can arrange it. It's quite short notice, so we'll see if we can arrange that too. So yeah, I think that's everything we've got going on this week at high level. Yeah. Right, let's catch up. MT New Skywriter and Theseus. Skywriter has left GMK, but only on Friday night, so that won't be until after the meetup, I don't think. But Theseus, we will see. Have you tried PET-G for 3D printing? Same price and better material if printer handles it like PLA. So I have a Core 1, and I did print a lot of stuff in PETG just fine. And for some reason, the PET-G that I have, and I've tried 3 different rolls of filament, I'm just having a nightmare with it being stringy, and then the print's failing halfway through, and I don't know what the issue is, and I don't have time to diagnose it, but it prints PLA beautifully, and the tools are perfectly fine that we do in PLA, and they have been for years, so I'm just going to move back to that, and I'll figure out the whole issue with it later on when I've got more time. That's the kind of plan. Who keeps it blue? It's all about the rainbow vomit menus. Tough. How is Windbreaker doing? It's doing pretty well. It needs help on certainly on our cells, it needs help on the international kit, but other than that, it's doing really well. Yes, I have a filament dryer. Yes, it runs. There's literally a filament dryer over there. It has been in the filament dryer at 60 degrees for 60 or 70 hours now, and it's still doing exactly the same thing. And it was a brand new roll of Prusament opened, put it in the filament dryer with the filament dryer on, and it's still stringing. So it's absolutely not that. So yeah. Good evening, Jay. Do you prefer to be called Jay or Jonathan in real life? The last time someone called me Jonathan was just before my mum died, because it was her, and no one has called me that since. So yeah, Jay is absolutely what everyone calls me. Will you be selling keyboard mats at your event next weekend? Yeah, like all of the desk mats that we have in stock are in sale. Then it might be the 3D printing. I mean, it's a Prusa Core 1. We've had it since they literally shipped. I think we were one of the first people in the UK to actually get one, like going by the delivery dates. We had it so early, and I think the issue is the printer was just left alone for maybe 3.5 months and didn't print anything for a while. So it may need new filament. It may need belts tightening. I mean, the belts can't really be it. It could need a new sheet on it. I don't know. Like the textured sheet seems fine, but yeah, it could be a whole raft of things. I also have a Prusa XL, and the same filament is doing this. Is having issues in that. The PLA print's fine. So I don't know. Like either the 3 or 4 rolls of Prusa I got were just so terrible, which is unlikely, that it's that or it's something else. But yeah, I don't know. It's a future J problem to sort out after I've got through the open day and through the next couple of weeks, because it's really, really busy after that as well. There's the shipment arriving. I'm also just booked in for some more tattoo work, and I've got a trip away for a weekend with my wife. There's a video game conference that I'm going to. There's some other smaller keyboard events that we're doing remotely, and there's a couple of big kind of company things that we've been doing, supporting companies to create products in keyboard world. So we've got that coming on, and there's just so much happening in the next 6 weeks that it's really going to be something to sort out. I can only recommend the Super Taco Cryo Grip print sheets. They're a game changer for printing with PLA. Yeah, but they're not going to stop stringing, right? They're not going to stop things stringing and nozzle leakage and things like that, which is what I'm getting. Yeah, it's what's happening with the 3D printers. It's laying it all down. The first layers look great, and then it has to do like a small bridge of like 1 centimeter, which has never been an issue, and it starts to get all over the place, and it starts to go stringy and get all over the place. And then the strings all get tied together, and it gets on the nozzle, and it clumps on the nozzle, and then it rips something off the bed because it's hanging off the nozzle and it's full ball. So I don't know if it's the nozzle needs changing, or if there's something inside the extruder head that needs adjusting or whatever. It's just something I need to do, but it's a future problem because PLA it's not doing this with PLA. So it could be that the temperature for PET-G, which is slightly higher than PLA, is causing the issues, and at the cooler temperature it's fine. I don't know. It's a future problem, I'll handle it in a couple of weeks. And yeah, there's all sorts of things it could be. I'm not new to 3D printing. I've been doing it a long time. I've been 3D printing since 2014, I think. I'll figure it out. It's just not a priority right now. The priority is just getting something off of it. It may well be the Pet G, and it may just be the batch I had from Prusa was just terrible. Although no, one was from Colorfill, so one of the rolls was the Prusa meant it was from Colorfill. It could also be Prusa's new slicer settings that just aren't good with my machine. Yeah. You know, you wouldn't have filament issues if you just swapped the printer for a 5-axis mill. I wouldn't be making additively manufactured tools for keyboard things on a mill though. So yeah, and I can't afford a 5-axis mill. Like, they're just too expensive. I tried to buy one. So there's a funny story about this Tengus, like a few weeks ago. No, it's not a few weeks ago, it's a few years ago. So back in 2020, just after PT had launched, I was talking with Salvan, and one of the things I was going to do is buy a CNC machine to produce stuff. And I was talking with AKB James and Flex about this at the time, and it was like something on the roadmap of when we were all working together back at that time. I paid the deposit with Haas for a mill that had been, it hadn't been pre-owned, but it had been pre-used at their big CNC show in Germany. Okay, so they'd used it for a demonstration machine for a week-long event. It had got maybe 30 hours of use on it, and I was going to buy it. So this was when the company was very new, so we were looking at finance to buy the machine and then basically pay it off monthly on a PCP type deal. And the original deal, it's a long story, but the original deal was not what they then put in the contract when it came time to actually do the deal and get it done. So I'd already paid a deposit prior to getting the contract, 10,000 euros. They then changed the contract to try and, or supposedly to fix the issues and get back to what we'd agreed with the sales rep. They went completely even further away from that. And in the end, I just gave up and cancelled the order, and it took me nearly a year to get the 10 grand deposit back, because they were just, yeah, it was so stressful at the time because the company was so young and so new, and we had limited capital. It was a big investment and a big step that I actually remember being on a video call to Salvan, almost in tears. I was that stressed about it. It was such a horrible time. Is the Neo 80 CU one of those ongoing pre-order things like the other QK and Neo products? Yeah, it should be on the website right now, True Blaze. Yeah, it should be on the website right now. You should be able to pick that up. But yeah, it'll be ongoing and rolling. Yeah.
Tasty, tasty.
Piney TF, thank you so much for the sub. Toro 60 Queen coming soon. You'll have to have a look on the updates, Daniel. I can't mentally keep a track of everything that we have coming in from shipments. It's just not possible. So yeah, you'll have to have a look on the updates. I also don't manage every single bit of the business. We have employees that, you know, that do things for me, so I don't always get to know every single update for every single product. But Sharon will be project managing the Toro 60 with the Toro guys, so yeah, like, she will have that knowledge and I don't. So if it's on the updates, it's on the updates, and I haven't had to get involved, so it's probably going well, which is a good sign. Did you get any more ETAR 87 sales after the extension? Seems like ClickClack had a few, so fingers crossed it makes it. I hope it makes it, because refunding people is always difficult. So the vendors at the moment on this one, we are looking at options and trying to make it work. Yeah. I know I spoke to the Bloody Easy on, I think it was Thursday or Friday, and we had like a bit of a ball plan on what we were going to do, but I haven't seen any numbers, so I don't know what the total number of sales was. And I don't know what the total number of extras is, so yeah, it's still up in the air at the minute, Vrugdush, but we will do everything we can to get it over the line, because I hate doing big refunds like that. It's just so expensive, and it's much easier to just buy the products and keep going. So yeah, right, okay, let's do the shilling, because I have to do shilling, otherwise it wouldn't really be a PT stream. So let's do that. Let me turn on my browser sharing. Boom, there it is. So first things, tickets for open day stroke meetup. So this happens on Saturday coming. That's in 6 days time. It's going to be at the PT HQ. There's a link to Google Maps on here. I'll drop the link to this in chat as well, so you can take a look. Boom, there you go. Someone did say last week, whenever I'm talking about stuff, I should drop the link in chat, so I'm gonna do that today and remember. Bring your own keyboard. There's going to be some discounts. There's going to be goodie bags. There's going to be a freebies box. So if you buy something on the day and you buy, like, say, 2 desk mats, you can have 2 things out of the freebies box. If you buy 5 desk mats, you can have 5 things out of the freebies box until the freebies box is empty. That's basically how it's going to work. You might not get to pick. That will be up to Mel and Sharon. They may pick for you, but that's what we're going to do. There's a big freebies box of all sorts of things, like alpha kits that we'll never sell, or old desk mats that are out of stock or don't have a package, or returns where it's a full key set apart from it's got a missing P key or something like that. So there'll be all kinds of things like that. We'll do some giveaways and prizes. I am going to give out a prize for the best board in the show. So if you bring a keyboard and it's on display, me and a couple of other people, I'm going to tap up on the day. I'm just going to pick 2 people at random to help me decide which keyboards are the best there on display. And we will give a prize to, say, the top 3 or something like that. We're also going to do a charity raffle, so you'll be able to buy raffle tickets by donating to charity, and then we'll have some really cool prizes off the back of that as well. Sadly, my tattoo is not going to happen. It was relevant on... I mean, I will get it done. It just might not be on the day, is what I'm saying. So, sadly, that's probably not going to happen. There's also going to be a photo booth, so you'll be able to take pics of your boards. So there's going to be a photo booth with lights inside it, and we're going to have a camera set up that'll take raw images, and then we're going to upload them all, so you'll be able to go and grab your images of your own keyboards later on. It's going to be really good fun. So yeah, it should be really good fun. It's going to be from 12:30 till 4:30, so 4 hours of keyboard fun in the sun, hopefully, if it stays dry. We'll see how that goes. Okay, what else do I need to tell you about? Probably tell you about stock drops, what's dropped in stock recently. So we have Gator mint smoothies and Gator chocolate smoothies have dropped in stock. The Gator chocolate smoothies are basically a lighter Type R switch. They're really, really nice, really, really smooth. I'm a big fan of them. We've also dropped in stock SA Motorsports Electric, which is a really cool SA set. It has not had many sales all worldwide, so please do support the project because it is really, really cool, and it's got some fantastic colors in there as well. Jumping over to pre-orders and group buys, where are live group buys? Here they are. So, MT New and CYL Mictlan. Mictlan is back. It is back, and it's back in both MT New and in CYL. Look how beautiful this looks in MT New. What a cool set. Look how good that looks. Look how cool these skull keycaps are. Really, 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 really nice. Super, super nice. Looking great on some of these projects. Oh, they're CYL. But yeah, I thought I'd removed it. Oh, I'm on the. Hold on. I was on the preview of the site because I was making some changes internally. So I think those will not be there if I refresh the page now. Okay, I thought I'd fixed it. I haven't. I'll fix it later on. Anyway, Mictlan is back both in MT New and in CYL as well. So you can pick it up in the CYL profile too. Beautiful set. Great set. What's not to love? Synovia is also in group buy as well right now. So if you've been interested or following the Synovia group buy and products, this is Bion's latest board, helped out by Bowl. I did build a prototype of this on stream a little while ago, but the board has changed some, especially on this internal section now. So there have been quite a few changes to the board, but it's absolutely stunning. It's absolutely beautiful. And will be the prototype I have here on, look at this colorway, this copper colorway. Look how beautiful that is. I will have the original prototype here for you to try on the open day as well. Okay, the other thing I wanted to call out is the Minimi 40. If you haven't seen this, this is an injection molded 40% keyboard, and it is the cutest little thing ever. The case acts as a wrist rest, it's injection molded, and it's only just 100 quid. It's super cool, super nice, really sweet little bundle. Pop it in your bag, plug it into your iPad, travel keyboard, whatever you want. It's really, really cool. And there's also a load of extras. You can add on PCBs and stuff like that. And there's also some extra cases. And I think there's even some keycaps as well that you can pick up. So definitely take a look at that. And GMK CYL Mono is also now available in group buy. This is quite possibly the cheapest base kit of GMK we've ever sold. I know it's not a huge base kit. I know it is quite limited in its coverage. But it's GMK. and it's already got some agreed additional keys that are going to be made. So if it hits 2,000 global basics, we'll get the Cherry Accents kits. If you hit 3,000, it's get the Alt GR kits, and these will all be included for free. And if you get to 4,000 sales overall, you'll get the Tulip kit for free as well. So the more you buy, the more you get, basically, or the more everyone buys, the more you get. Cool. Last call soon for PBS Granite, Windbreaker, Gorp, and a few others as well. So please pick those up while you can. And finally, on the pre-order side of things, Monochrome Dolch is now up available, and we've added some others such as Reel to Reel, PBS Galaxy, Keycopa, Dolch Cadet, lots of stuff. MTNU Skywriter, if you want to pick this up, this is literally on the way to PTHQ now. So yeah, if you want to pick it up at a cheaper price than in stock, I would order it before it arrives, because then that listing will go and it'll go in stock. The same also goes for Beta and JS R2. These are literally about to arrive at PT any day now, and the price is going to go up a little bit when they go in stock. So if you want to secure the cheaper price and still get it delivered at the same time, why not order it now? Right, okay, that is shilling done. Wait, where's that? That's the wrong command. There we go, that's the right one. Right, okay, let's catch up with chat because I think a lot's gone on. Where are we? I just noticed that Mictlan Rebirth is now live. Ooh, yeah. So I haven't been around to announce it because I didn't have any signal this morning, but there will be an announcement going up tomorrow, but the group buy started today, so yeah. Didn't win Hyperbage at Alvy's meetup. Can we have a redo? You can buy it. I have similar stories like your experience from my old job. Some of the shenanigans our sale manager pulled were iffy. Yeah, makes sense. I might build the board I built with freebies for switches from last time. Nice. Is Alvy going? I have no idea, Zora. Oh, he can't make it. There we go. Yeah. Because the best keyboard is the friends we made along the way. Absolutely, just like antiques. Will Synovia have an add-on page at some point? It should already, I believe. I will check with Sharon on Monday. I'm just going to have a look and see if I can see it. It may be that we're just waiting for some information or something like that, but or maybe it doesn't have any options. I'm not sure. I will check with Sharon on Monday, and if we do, we will get that updated for you, Jehovah. But I don't know off the top of my head. Sharon's been managing that one. Do you have a percentage for the discounts on the day? I have no idea yet, KCE, what we're going to do for discounts on the day. I need to plan all of that out. So yeah, I can't guarantee anything on. There won't be something that's blanket wide across everything we have. It will be certain products might get certain discounts, and some products won't get any discounts at all. It all depends when I start to delve into the data on Tuesday, and I'll start to set some of that up.
Incredible.
Did you find any more MT New Moto light sets? I can't remember if you found any recently. Yes, we put some in stock about 2 weeks ago, and they've all sold. So yeah. The best keyboard will be beige and ISO. Not necessarily. We will see. Synovia Sexy AF. It's a beautiful keyboard. I'll bring my Bias DE. I think nice. We'll have at least a couple of them there, which will be really cool. Sad that the MT New Mictlan Xgel kit didn't get the Alt GR keys. Would have been nice to have those accents with other sets too. Yeah, unfortunately, it's not possible to put that kind of stuff with every set. So, yeah, I wish we could. Do you have the numbers on global sales for GMK Mono so far? No, the group buy only started on Friday. It's the weekend. I've been away, KCE, so I have no idea. I haven't checked into anything like numbers or anything like that. Gion will be taking charge of those, and he will be announcing what gets made. But the more people that join, the more opportunity we have to get those. The timing of those Dolch runs are just weird. I mean, it's just one of those things. Colorways come in peaks and troughs. You have a raft of beige, and then a raft of Dolch, and then a raft of black on white. You know, it just depends. It's just one of those things. Will GMK B2 be in stock for the PT meet? Unlikely. Even if the group buy arrives and gets shipped out and the pre-orders do as well, it's unlikely we'll have time this week to be able to put it in stock. Whilst it might be sat here on the shelf behind me, it probably won't be in stock on the website, so it probably won't be for sale. It'll be for sale afterwards. And even if we put a brand new set in stock today or this week, it's not going to get a discount at the open day, I'm afraid. Like, we just can't afford to do that. We can't say to group buy customers, oh look, here's your group buy product that you paid less for, and now the new product's at retail price, and oh look, we've slashed the retail price. It's just not fair to people, so that won't be happening. Done with shillings. Are we on to pence and pounds? That happened in 1973. Gemma says, I can't stay, but I just wanted to say hi and see you all next weekend. I am looking forward to it, Gemma. I hope you're doing well. Nice to see that PT is selling the monochrome Dolce not UK sets. I haven't found those from any other vendors yet. As far as I know, the EU vendor should be selling them. Bazuko, hello from NYC. Trojan, hey man, good to see you, dude. I hope you're doing alright. I hope you're doing well. Sorry I can't make the day just after my birthday. Spend it with my family. Dude, have a great day. Have a great day. I need to figure out whether I can bring a board. I may also need to bring switches and stabs. May have to mail them both back to you. No worries. Camrock 11, hey man, good to see you. Silly Mellow says, hi, out of curiosity, is the price for Mono Dolce higher than usual because it has a lot of colours with the accents? The price will be based on whatever the agreed vendor pricing is. I don't know the kitting off the top of my head. Let me have a look. The other thing as well is you have to remember that monochrome Dolce is being done as a pre-order, not a group buy. So the way it works is a group buy means that we collect funds and we give a bigger discount. So it's not quite at cost, but it's only just above cost. There's not much profit margin on group buy pricing usually, or there's significantly less profit on group buy margins. And obviously businesses need to make profits, pay staff and warehousing and lighting, electricity, all that kind of thing. So that's usually because we collect funds up front and then we pay the manufacturer, so you get it at a steep discount. And then pre-order is slightly less than retail price, but it's above group buy pricing. So you might see that it's kind of in line with the rest of pre-order pricing because we've already paid for that production slot. Like we've already paid for it in advance. We know how many we're going to have. We know how many is being produced, and we've already taken that risk to pay for it. And then the in-stock pricing will be a little bit more. So it's more likely, Silly Mellow, that you're seeing the pre-order pricing rather than expecting group buy pricing, but it's not group buy, it's pre-order. Delta Kiko doesn't have the monochrome Dolce not a UK kits for some reason. Maybe the counter on GMK selling them in stock later. I don't know. I haven't spoken to Delta Kiko about it specifically. I know Sharon mentioned the Dolce kits the other day to me and said that we were selling them, but I don't know the details behind it. Do monochrome Dolce sales from PT get into the Jane raffle? Yes, they do. Well, you have to enter the raffle, I believe. I don't think it's automatic, but again, yeah, you'll be able to get into it. Thanks for explaining. Didn't know it's pre-order instead of group buy. Yeah, so on our site you can always tell because the product has it in the title. So you can just look at the title and you can see that it's pre-order rather than group buy. If you go to the open group buys, coming down to open group buys, you'll see that these all have group buy in the name. So for example, this one says group buy here, and then the pre-orders are in a separate category on their own, and these all have pre-order in the title, as you can see there. So yeah, that's how you can tell with us whether it's pre-order or group buy, and it's kind of like the price increases a little bit at each stage, roughly about 10%. Depending on the product, it can be more or less, but it's roughly about 10% throughout the stages. So yeah, there you go. That's the information for you. Right, okay. I think that's all the PT news and the shilling done, and catching up to chat. Will the Jane raffle be sold through you or directly from KLC? Is it? I think they're going to be from KLC. So I could be wrong on this because I get, again, you know, we have a team that manages a lot of this, and I don't handle every single aspect of the business myself. My understanding is that people will still be able to enter the raffle, and all you'll need to do is provide your order number, and then excuse me, and then KLC will come out to all the vendors and say, this customer here, let's say Rubrehaku and Neodoida have both entered the raffle. They both happen to have won. Can you confirm that these are valid order numbers? And we'll go and we'll look at it and we'll say, yes, that order number is valid. That's the only information we'll hand over. We won't hand over any customer information or anything like that. We'll just confirm that that is a valid order for that product. We won't tell them any other information, and that's it. That's it. Then they will invoice you for the keyboard. It's a lot to keep track of. Yeah, and like we have trackers internally. Like obviously I can look up any of this information at any given time, but that means me minimizing all of the windows I have for streaming, loading up Notion, finding the information, reading it, absorbing it, understanding it, and then trying to tell you guys about it on stream. And that's just not great to watch. Like, it's terrible to watch. So yeah. When do we think the Oblique will be here, and did more people get in on it? There's still some pre-orders available for it. I think Oblique is still waiting some units to be finished. So it'll be here as soon as it's here. Like, I genuinely don't know, but you can check on the updates where it is messing. There'll be updates on the updates pages, and whatever information we have, that's where it'll be. So you can look there. Cool. Okay, right. it's time to do the build then. So today we are building a Rubrehaku, so you guys can type away on it and type on it at the open day. We do still have some units left for the Rubrehaku. So we had keyboards and coffee on Thursday, and you could pick up, it was the first place we were selling them exclusively, so if you came to Keyboards and Coffee, you could pick them up. We had a couple of people come and pick them up on the day, and they've already paid for them. And I have another one that's almost finished doing that. Didn't have the money on the day, but did come and arrange to sort it all out and pay for it. So that's happening. And then so we will have some more. So they will be available on the open day. So if you want to pick them up on the open day as well, and then if there's still any Rubrehakus left after the open day, then we will list them on the website and you'll be able to buy them at that point there. So that's the plan for the Rubrehaku extras. Okay, I feel like I've done nothing but talk now, but it's good. So we're going to build a Rubrehaku today. You'll be able to have a play with it at the PT open day if you're coming along. It will be one of the boards on the PT couple of tables that we're going to have with our products on there for you to be able to see. So let's take a look at it and let's go through the build. I'm trying to finish this coffee as well. First of all, switches. These switches came with all of the group buy units. These are Rubrehaku switches. They are grey. My board is beige. There is grey and beige boards left, but these are pretty cool. They've actually got the I've got like the engraving on the top of it. It says "Be Bad," which has been all over the branding for these as well. So it does say "Be Bad" all across the top of the switch, which is really cool. Camera, please focus. Come on, camera. Camera. There, it says "Be Bad" just there, which is really cool. So we're going to be using those switches today. And for stabilizers, we are going to be using whatever I have most of in a box, because I have lots of stabilizers and I'm trying to get through using them. Why is this not coming off? It will be interesting to see how you think the Rubrehaku compares to the Mia. Yeah, I haven't had a chance to use the Mia too much yet because I've been away for a few days and been busy this past week with other things, but it will be used in anger for at least a couple of weeks in the very near future. I'll keep those boxes there because I'm probably going to need it. Right, let's figure out the stabilizer situation. So I have loads of half-open packets of stabilizers, and I may have enough to do what we want to do. So let's move the coffee out of the way and see what we have. So this is an old pack of Swag Keys ones, and that looks like it will do. Enter, backspace, and 6.25 use space, I think. Yeah, so that looks like it's going to do us. We just need housings and screws, which we will have there. Cool. Okay, great. So first box we open, and we're good. Excellent. That makes that a lot easier. Wait, have we got enough of the other packs? 1, 2, 3, 4. Okay, so no, that doesn't help us because we need some more stabilizers. Okay. I don't have any more of those. What's in the GMK box? We have enough of those. Right, okay, so we're going to use QMX stabilizer because that has got enough in there. It's got 6.25U wire. It's got 4 housings, and yeah, that'll work. Cool. Excellent. You sound tired, Jay. I am really, really tired today. We climbed the mountain yesterday, and then we went out and had a lot to drink, and then it's been a long day of driving today. So yeah, I'm pretty tired. Pretty tired. It's been a long weekend. I shouldn't really be at work tonight, but this has to get done. So yeah. Yeah, the QMX stabs are pretty good. We'll have some more in stock in the very near future. I know there's some more about to arrive with us in the next couple of weeks, I think. Right, let's take a look at the keyboard. So this is the case. Comes with the lovely Be Bad logo on it, and a really nice texture to it. We have build instructions and the VIA details and everything else, and also the authenticity and details about the weight and the screwdrivers that you need as well, which is really cool. We have our solder PCB with fishes on. We have our carbon fiber plate, which is what we're going to build the board with. We do have an aluminium plate as well, but we're not going to need that. We will need our feet and everything from there. Don't need anything else in there. Okay. Need to buy stabs. Yeah, I think we're waiting on some Night V4 restocks as well. We have a nice little cloth which we can put down, the waffle cloth, and then we have the keyboard in here. So the keyboard comes in this lovely red velvet case. And here is the board itself. Cool little detail up here. And then of course the glass and the base. Super, super cool. Okay, let's take the board apart and then we can start the build in earnest. And you guys will be able to vote on what keycaps you want to put on the board later on. We'll either put torque screwdriver there. We'll either put on the board either GMK rubber hose or DCS deadbeats, depending on what you guys pick. Well, there will be likely some on the website, Mr. Wens, at some point soon, because I can't see everyone buying these on the open day. It's a lot of money to drop when you're at an event. Do you have to own the GMK Rubrehaku to buy the board? Rubber hose, GMK rubber hose, you mean? So ideally, yes, I think you have to have bought the kits to it at some point. That's the rule to be able to qualify. So top case comes off. You can see if you want to change the badge, there will be extras of the polycarbonate version of the badge. So you can change that just with that little screw just there. Obviously we're going to keep that one because I didn't personally purchase the extra badges. It's also got the Be Bad logo on the front. I forgot to show you this before. This is Be Bad just on the front here, look, which is really cool. There it is. Super nice. It's got a little character peeking there. And the other little character there. Super nice. Even for during the PT meet. Yeah, the rule is you can only have one of these if you bought GMK Rubrehaku, yeah. So yes. Okay, so first thing I'm going to do is install the feet and install the gaskets while we've got the board open. I think for feet, because we've got the beige one, I think we're going to go for the clear feet. If I can get them out of the packet. I seem to have lost a foot. I have lost a foot. That's there, look. Come on, why won't you go in place? What about if you only ordered one copy of the key set and then ordered the Jane? You can order one then, even if you ordered the Jane before. Yeah, I think it was one each, I believe, from memory. So yes, I think that's acceptable. But yeah, you have to have bought the key set to be able to buy the keyboard. Them's the rules. They were not my rules. That was the rules from the designers. So yeah, best for us to abide by those. So I'm just going to install the gaskets onto the case. And there's little slots that have been milled into the case for these to sit, just as like a visual indicator so we can see where they need to go. And these are just self-adhesive into position. Just like so. Okay, that's the gaskets installed on the bottom case. As you can see there, they look nice and even. Now it's time to do the same on the inside of the top case, which is a little bit more difficult, but it shouldn't be overly so. I can't believe I've been streaming an hour already, and I'm only just getting around to install the gaskets. I was planning on today's stream being quite short. That's clearly not going to be the case today, I think. Oops. I have all of this one at a funny angle. I'll make it work. Slightly incorrectly. Just grab a tool. There we go. Cool. Do you know what? I don't know, Jehovah. For us, the sales were almost 50-50. Like, the difference in the numbers was like, it was less than like 5 units, I think. So I think it was very, very even for us in terms of the colours sold. I don't know about other vendors. Whilst I probably have access to all of the numbers, like, I don't always like utilize all of that data, because sometimes it's just too much data to manage. And when you're trying to make decisions based on how sales in your local area do, it sometimes obfuscates data or reduces data or dilutes data when you look at it at a macro level across the whole group buy. So yeah, different vendors often get different attachment rates for different products. Like, obviously we sell more Nordic, we don't sell enough of them, mind, but we sell more Nordic UK kits, for example, than say Novelkeys do. But if we included Novelkeys data in our data when we're looking at things at a macro level, it would kind of then make them look even less likely to have a great attachment rate. So sometimes it's better to look at data in isolation rather than in macro level. Okay, so that's the board ready to be assembled. I'm just going to pop that to one side now. And now it's time for us to prepare our stabilizers and get them installed into the PCB and plate assembly. So first thing I'm going to do is just take my 6.25U wire. That I think might be 6U actually, or is this 7U? 6.25U. Okay, cool. Yeah, that's 6.25U. Okay, take the other stabilizers out. Now we need to keep some of these whole and take some of these apart. So we need to remove the wires from these ones. And this is the one where we're going to put the wire into the housing first, and then we'll lubricate it afterwards. Okay, great. Do you have any GMK set recommendation with some sort of purple accent? Been thinking to slash blue purple cloud for me too that Pantheon keys have. Hyper beige would be my jump, or maybe Subarashi if you, depending on what you like. Subarashi might be also a great shout. I think we have both available and in stock, but hyper beige would be my first guess for a good purple accent key set. Yes, Telvin agrees as well. Excellent. Have you used these stabilizers before? Yeah, I've used them a lot. I think we were actually one of the first people to use them because we had the trial ones from GMK long before the stock came out. So they just need a very, very light lube. So all we're doing is putting a little bit of lube inside on the wire once it's assembled, and then very gently lubing the wire rail. So what we're doing is we're pushing the lube pen inside, so we're lubricating all down the wire where it connects inside, and then brushing it out almost. So you can see that that's the action. So you want to follow down and then come around. like that. And then just do the side of the slider rail with just a very, very fine coat, nothing too major. And you've got lovely access for that. That looks good. I live in your brain, Jay. I'm in your walls. That is terrifying for you. My brain is probably not a great place to be. Mr. Cullen and Mr. Blackbrook can probably attest that after spending a whole weekend with me. I'll probably put them off coming back up here for life. Subarashi. It's not GMK, but it's cherry profile. Maybe Fright Night as well. Fright Night does have some purple keys in his GMK, so that might be something that you would want to take a look at. Suppose you get Mr. Cullen to leave London. So was I, to be fair. But he found Yorkshire particularly beautiful. He was very happy with it. So. He had great fun terrorizing sheep and cows. The sheep and cows will never forget the day the Aussie visited. It's the Kiwis and the Welsh. Perhaps I was wrong there. Maybe he's a Kiwi. No context. Yeah. I'm going to loop up the last stabilizer as well, just because, not because we actually need it, because we don't for the build, but at least it's done then. I can use it in something else. I have a little macro pad project I might put this in. It's ages since we've used these on stream. I've forgotten how much I like QMX stabilizers though. I think the brush on my lube pen has seen better days though. I think I'll need to get myself a new one. What did I do too well? You loved us too much, Mr. Cullen, that's what you did. Okay, excellent. Now we can get these installed in the circuit board, the PCB. Oh. It's getting stuck. Something's getting stuck. It's the USB port. Here's the PCB with the BBAD text, the details about the Rubrehaku there, and then I'm going to take on the koi fish here as well. Okay, so let's get our stabilizers installed. How far ahead can you lube a stabilizer? Like if you're waiting on a group by banging out choirs. I wouldn't leave them too long, to be honest. Sean Wens, like they particularly don't travel well once lubricated. So I think like they're always better lubed fresh before you put them in the board, right? I think it's just one of those things. How did Gion manage to get the GMK mono set so low price? It's very, very limited kitting, and he's committed to buying an absolute ton of them. Most GMK sets are priced based on selling 250 units because that's probably all they'll sell. So it's based on the pricing and the cost price, the wholesale price of the 250 MQ. Gion has already decided that he's going to buy out significantly past that MOQ to a higher MOQ, which makes the wholesale price cheaper, which means that vendors can then offer it cheaper. Unfortunately, that's not viable for every key set because there's not unlimited funding for key sets in the world, and you know, it's not every key set can get away with having such limited kitting. I've already had several complaints about the kitting for that key set, and had to explain that it's designed to be a really cheap kit with very limited functionality, and that's just part of the design choices that were made. But like many things, the more you make of something, the cheaper it becomes. So if you make, you know, 1 million of something, it's going to be cheaper to manufacture than if you make 10 of something. So economies of scale are huge, especially in keyboards and most manufacturing industries. Okay. So he's a Chad then. I mean, I'm not quite sure what you're defining as a Chad there. You know, making the price of something attractive is often an exercise in. It's often an exercise in reduction, and it's often an exercise in compromise. And the more compromise you're willing to make, the cheaper you can make something. You know, that's often one of the things that you can look at doing. You know, simplify it, make less of a product, make fewer keys, and that will reduce the price. And the other thing you can do is make more of it and hope that it sells. But if you wanted to say chuck £1 million at something, you've got to get that £1 million from somewhere, which means that you need to have funding behind you to be able to do that. So it's not possible for every project because the industry for keyboards is not big enough to do that for every project. It's just not. Even if we made the MOQ for every GMK set 10,000 and we all bought 10,000 of them, and we could make them, I don't know, sell them for £75 including VAT, we wouldn't sell all 10,000 of them because there's not a big enough market for everyone to be able to buy that. And then if you do that with every product, you've got 10,000 of how many GMK sets have we run this year? 30. So you've got 10,000 of 30 different GMK sets. So you've got 300,000 key sets. There's not enough people in the UK to buy that many key sets because it's not that big of a thing. So, you know, you have to pick and choose what projects you invest in that to that level. I hope that makes sense. Okay, so now it's time to put the plate in place, like so. And we are using this lovely carbon fiber plate today. So I'm just going to expand this out so that we can solder nicely. And then it's time to pop the switches into the plate and PCB assembly. I should always really dig my tools out before I start the stream rather than grabbing them as I need them. Where do GMK manufacture their keycaps? At the GMK factory in Germany, where all of GMK keycaps are made. So we're just going to start installing the switches. In fact, GMK's factory actually had an open day of their own earlier on this year where you could go and you could see the keys being manufactured, and you actually got to keep some of the keys being produced on the production line. I've shown them off on stream before. But yeah, they're all produced in Germany at GMK's factory. Which, coincidentally enough, is just down the road from Cherry's factory as well. I have visited both in the past. Cherry's factory is particularly cool. I mean, the GMK factory is amazing as well, but it's cool to be able to get to visit stuff like that. But I think Mel and I were at GMK in June, if I remember correctly, it was, when the keyboard meetup abroad happened, which was really nice. Okay, so split left shift here. There we go. And we're going to go for stepped caps lock because stepped caps is best. June 28th? Yeah, it was somewhere, and then yeah, that might be right. I know Mel and I were there for it. It feels like it was a lifetime ago now, but it was only a short number of months ago. Cherry are moving production to China, yes, but GMK are not. Yeah, Cherry went through. There's some public documents you can read on this, but Cherry went through a massive round of funding recently to like restructure their company loans, their business loans that they operate through, and part of that meant they had to do a cost-saving exercise, which is moving production to China. I think some parts of production will still remain in Germany, so they're still going to produce the leaves in Germany and then ship them to China for the actual switch housings and assembly to happen in China. I have some friends that work at Cherry, and of course some of them are being let go, some of them are retaining their jobs depending on what they do, so it's an interesting time, and I hope everyone involved is okay at the end. But yeah, it's something that they're doing. I can't see GMK ever moving their manufacturing to China. I think they are stoutly German, and even if they did, I don't think it would change the pricing of much of GMK's products, because GMK only just built 3 years ago their new headquarters in Germany and spent all the money that they had to spend on that. So yeah, I can't see them wanting to move away from that anytime soon. Okay, so now we've done this, we're just going to do the side switches. Okay, then we're going to install the bottom row, so 1.25U in there and there. Ooh, that was very flexible. Trying to hold on to that, and 6.25U should be there. That looks right. And then 1.25U, 0.25U, and 1.25U. There we go. That's all of our switches installed. Let's catch up on chat. Chris says GMK was good, was super wholesome. Seeing designers meet GMK staff for the first time. Yeah, I know a lot of GMK staff. Like, I've met Mario like 5 or 6 times, and I've met Christoph like 4 or 5 times. But it was really good to see. It was really good to see like some of the other members of staff that like handle invoicing and taxes and rebates and support queries and all of the other kind of stuff that don't get to travel the world to meetups. So yeah, it was good. I heard it was only for lube switches. Not sure how reliable that information was though. Maybe it was just the leaves, as Jay said. So the leaves are still the official line, as far as I know, and this is from people that work at Cherry who are friends of mine, that the leaves and the metallic stamping production process to create the pins and leaves are still remaining at Cherry HQ in Germany, at least for now. And the switch assembly and housing and stem manufacturing is going to happen in China. I'm not sure about springs. I think they were already manufactured in China, and then, but I'm not 100% certain on springs. Cost saving exercise, corpo speak for how to lay people off and increase profits. Sometimes yes, sometimes no. It depends on the business and what they're trying to do. Sometimes businesses need to reduce costs not just to increase profits, but to also keep the business viable. So yeah. Is MX back being done in China? Yeah, so there will be a detail in the production pack, so that the actual code for the switches is going to change. So I do have the details somewhere. I can't remember off the top of my head what it is, but you can tell from the reference number assigned to the Switch when you're purchasing at a wholesale whether it was produced in China or Germany, and there is like a little conversion table for that somewhere that I've seen as a vendor. I don't think that's public information, and I'm not sure I'm allowed to share it, but there is something out there that you can tell where they're produced. MX Blacks are one of the Switches that were produced in China, as far as I'm aware. Yes. Hey, Jen, chat. Anything keyboard related I should be on the lookout for when I'm in Japan next week? Yes, lots. Go to Yushikobo, which is a little keyboard store there. They're great people. They're absolutely amazing to hang out with. Check out Akibara, where all of the Real Force keyboards are, which is like a tech area in Japan. So yeah, there's lots of things to do. I mean, if you just Google keyboards Japan on Reddit, or search on Reddit for it, you will find lots of things to do. I've heard some people claiming that China cherry switches are being made by Utemu. Thoughts? I can't comment on that. I know the answer to that, but I can't comment on that. Cherry is also inventing new switches. Yes, they are constantly inventing new switches. Inventing is a big stretch. They're doing what every other switch manufacturer's been doing for years at this point. It depends. They have some cool stuff that we saw a couple of years ago that has not been released yet. So they have been doing some very interesting things. And they have some cool technologies on the way, assuming they get released at some point. But there's stuff that has been done elsewhere, and they're just expressing their interest in that particular market, like Hall effects with the Carena switches. But there is other things that they're doing as well. GDC says, seeing Mictlan Rebirth group bio on the PT set made me wonder, how is the original Mictlan run for PT as a business? Profitable, break even, negative? To this day, Mictlan was one of the cheapest purchased from you. We didn't make a profit on that. On Mictlan round 1, I don't remember the exact numbers, but I know after paying the designer payout, we ended up in a negative position on the group buy as a whole, and that was partially not helped by the secondary run of Norda UK kits for it, which then took forever to sell. They did ultimately sell out, actually, but only when we put them on offer. So yeah, it was not a great project for us. I think for other vendors, there's a few things here. So, like, you have to remember that the UK market is small, okay, first of all. So if you sell 1,000 sets in the US, you might sell 100 sets here in the UK. That's, it varies, but it can be anywhere between 8% and 25% of the US sales. So it's a fraction of the market, somewhere between a quarter and a tenth, something like that, okay?
Tasty.
Rough numbers. So there's that for start off, and then also operating costs here in the UK. To the cost of doing business itself is higher. So in the US, you don't. If you can choose whether or not you have certain types of insurance, because there's no law saying you have to have it. It's then up to you. Here in the UK, certain types of insurance have to be paid for. There's also things like land and rent and utilities are cheaper in the US than they are in the UK. There's also different things around minimum wages. Depending on where you are in the US, the minimum wage is significantly cheaper than it is here in the UK. And minimum wage here in the UK is not based on location, it's based on age. So the older your staff becomes, the more you have to pay them. There's also things around having to provide pension schemes, which isn't a thing in the US, but I have to pay into pension schemes for employees and things like that, legal requirement. I mean, I'm happy to do it because it's a good thing, but legal requirement. So overall, to the cost of making £1 profit versus, or let's say $1 actually, because it's easier. So if I was going to make $1 profit, which is about 75 pence, something like that, I would have to spend more money to make that 75 pence than, say, Novel Keys or Canon Keys or one of the other big US vendors would do, because the cost of doing business is significantly higher. So yeah, like every pound of profit we make is a significant greater cost than it is for others. There's also other things like VAT and taxes work differently here, and that's kind of like a bigger thing. And accounting is much more difficult, I know for a fact from over here. And there's also more taxes, like there's value-added tax, VAT. There is corporation tax, which depending on how much money you make is either 19% or 25% of your total profit, which is a huge number. For us, it's always been 25%, which is a huge number. So for every pound we make in profit, we only get 75p. and then all of our costs have to come out of that. So it's things like rent and utilities and lighting and heating and staff and pension schemes and all of that kind of stuff, insurances. And then the other thing that's changed in the UK quite recently is there is a thing called national insurance, which for those of you not in the UK is basically paying money to the government to help everyone ensure that they have a pension scheme in the future, amongst other things. But it's like a national insurance. Every employer has to pay it for their employees, and it comes off the employees, partly off the employee's salary, partly from the employer. So the fully loaded cost for an employee isn't just the employee's salary, it's also the insurance for that employee, it's their pension scheme, it's their national insurance, and some other things as well, accounting, things like that. So there's a considerable cost, probably 50% above someone's salary, to what they actually cost to be employed. And all of those things kind of combined make it significantly more expensive to do business here in the UK than it is in the US. Even if we sold the same number of sets as the US did at the same exchange rate price and everything else, we would still make less profit per key set sold or per keyboard sold, because the cost of doing business here is just exorbitantly higher than it is in the US and most other places in the world as well. Some places in the EU are just around the same as the UK, maybe a little bit worse, maybe a little bit better, but yeah, it's cheaper to do business in many other places. It's cheaper to do business in a lot of other places. So yeah, so we didn't make any money on Midland is the round one. So yeah. Right, catch up with chat. So production's moving to China, but assembly stays in Germany. No, so only the leaves will be produced in Germany. They'll be shipped to China, then the switches will be assembled there as well. Cherry's going to make 20 million magnetic switch colors like every other manufacturer. Maybe. Animushki, thank you so much for being subbed for a whole year. Happy birthday, and that happens to fall on PT's birthday as well. Congratulations. Minimum wage in the US is insane. Yeah. It's also like things like there's other things like this, like in the US you don't have to give people paid time off, like or very few. Like I think there's some people I know in the US, they get 5 days off for holiday a year. Here in the UK, if you're a full-time employee, I think it's something like 27 days or something that you get off, including bank holidays. But it's like a whole month if you're a full-time employee, and that's prorated down if you are part-time. But it's crazy. So you pay people for 12 months and they only get paid. So you pay people for 12 months, but they only work 11 effectively. But in the US, it's crazy because you get 5 days. 5 days. Like I'm looking for work myself at the minute. And one of the companies I've been speaking to about a potential opportunity is based in the US. And I was like, what does the package look like? And they said, here's the pay. Pay was good. And then they were like, here's your paid time off and your sick leave. And it's like, why do I have sick leave? Like, if I'm sick, I'll just not be here. And they're like, no. You can only be sick on days that you have sick days for. It's like, I mean, I've never taken a sick day in my life. I just don't. But if I ever needed to, that seems kind of weird. And then I was like, well, you can't just give me 5 days holiday. That's illegal in the UK. Like, yeah, but this is US job. Yeah, but you may be employing a UK person, which means you have to abide by the UK rules. And so anyway, there's been some conversation on that. Yeah. It's all very much take in the UK at the moment. I'm bracing for the budget. I am not looking forward to the budget. I think the budget will put a lot of small businesses out based on what I've seen is potentially going to happen. The big kicker for a lot of small businesses, and I speak to a lot of local business owners, a couple of forums of local business owners I speak to relatively frequently, a few times a year. And one of the big things that's impacted them is the increase in the employer contribution to national insurance, for what I have to pay for my employees to the government for national insurance for each, for like Mel and Sharon, for example. And that used to have a limit that you could, until your total employees' earnings hit each employee hit £9,000 over the course of the year. So let's say, I don't know, someone's paid £1,000 a month. Until you paid them for 9 months, you didn't have to pay national insurance contributions to the government. That's all now changed, and now you have to pay national insurance contributions as soon as your whole staff hits £5,000 of salary. So as soon as everyone combined hits 5,000, instead of each staff hitting 9,000, you have to pay national insurance. And it's not a huge percentage, but it's the fact that you're paying it so much earlier. So we didn't used to pay it until month 4 or 5, for example, and now we're having to pay it from month 1. It's just a massive increase in cost for us. It's almost tripled the cost of national insurance for the year for us. It's crazy. I don't have to deal with GPSR. Yeah, like GPSRs are crazy. HE is a sham. I mean, HE is a great technology. Hall effect has been around since the 60s. It's tried and proven. It works. There are many, many things outside of keyboards that use Hall effect sensors to produce outcomes. There are parts on cars that use Hall effect sensors, and it's used in it's used in arcade sticks, it's used in amplifiers. Hall effect technology is used everywhere. There are buttons and switches. It's used all over the place because it can be used to control so many different things. I don't believe it's a sham. I think it's a really cool technology, and whether it's great in keyboards or not is down to the user. So yeah, you can only be sick when we allow it. Yeah, my last place we had unlimited paid time off. US based. So I read an article on this recently. It's really interesting. So giving people unlimited time off means they actually use less time off. So there's this really interesting psychological phenomenon where if you say you can have as much time off as you want paid, there's two types of people. People who absolutely abuse it and will take the month or 2 months a year off or whatever, and then there is but they are very few far between. That's like 1% of employees or something, and then the other 99% of employees never take it at all. They take even less than what they would be allowed if they had like a set dedicated amount. And it's really, really interesting and how people perceive that, because then they get worried that they're like side down, or they think it's not a good time to take vacation time because the project's due or whatever, or they're busy and stuff. So unlimited paid time off, whilst it sounds great in theory, is almost never implemented in a way that I've seen and read like some reports on that actually encourages people to take the time off. So it's an interesting concept. I think it's a very, very clever technical tool to make sure that people use fewer holidays. After doing 4 12-hour shifts a week, I couldn't go back to a 9 to 5 Monday to Friday. Yeah, I mean, my working hours are weird because I will wake up at 6 o'clock in the morning and I'll be laid in bed and reply to 4 or 5 customer emails usually each morning. Whatever I can do without having to think about something particularly, or to actually physically do something like exchange a product or send a replacement part out or something like that. If there's things that I can answer whilst I'm laid in bed, that happens 6 o'clock in the morning. And then I'll get ready for work and stuff and come to the workshop and start the workshop around 8 o'clock, finish around 7 p.m. and then I'll get home and I'll be sat on the sofa watching some TV with my wife, cuddle up with the dog and my wife for an hour or two, and I'll probably reply to a few DMs and emails and things then as well. So like my working hours are not great, and I have a terrible work-life balance. So yeah. All that means is they don't have to pay you any unused holiday. Yes, that's the flip side. So on paid time off, if you don't take the paid time off, you technically owed that and paid by the company. If you have unlimited paid time off and you can take it whenever you want, at the end of the year they don't actually owe you anything, because they can't owe you infinite. Yeah. Someone from the US side of our business has moved to Belfast to be part of our Irish business. She was talking about a US colleague being on vacation the other day, and I assumed he was on a nice holiday. He was at a funeral and had to use vacation days to cover that. The difference in language was interesting. Yeah, so if someone had to go to a funeral, I wouldn't make them take holiday for it. I mean, I think you legally can. I know I've worked at companies where that would have been absolutely required in the UK. So yeah, so I think there's some differences there. You feel guilty for taking time off. Exactly, yeah. On top of everything you said, pay in the UK is so pathetic. I had to move to the UK and unfortunately had to accept a 30% pay cut because the UK pay rate is really low and crazy tax on top of it. Yeah, so there's an interesting thing here. There's multiple factors that affect employee pay. Okay, market rate is one of those things, but the other thing, and there's 4 or 5 different things that affect market rate pay as well. So I'm not covering everything, but this is just one thing that can affect pay scales in the UK, and that's the fact that when you tax businesses more, they make less net profit, and therefore there is less money available to pay their employees more money. So, and if you pay your employees more money, they pay tax individually and the government gets more money. So it's almost in the government's best interest to reduce business taxes so people get paid more and people spend more and people have more available to then tax more on their income and recoup funds that way. But when they do it the other way around and they tax the businesses have less money, and depending, like the national insurance increase and the way that the corporation tax has increased, And then you have business rates as well, which is another tax. When you do all of those things, you basically taking cash away from the business, which it could have used potentially for new products, new processes, new procedures, and to increase staff salaries. So there's kind of like an interesting dynamic there. Folks in our Irish business would only say vacation if it's relaxing. That's fair. I can't stand taking days off if I'm honest. I mean, I don't ever really take a day off. The closest I come to a day off was yesterday when I climbed a mountain, and I think I still replied to like 2 or 3 customers during the day. So not while I was doing the hike, but when we'd stopped. My experience with the US was you had a few contracted days off compared to the UK, but have a lot more public holidays. Maybe. My company offers unlimited paid time off, but as you said, more than 95% of folks never take more than 20 PTO, which is a company with fixed time would offer. Yeah. I get 23 days off annually and do a 4 on 4 off shift pattern, but due to my shift pattern, if I use 4 days, I manage to get 12 days off. Yeah, exactly. So you'll also get things like bank holidays as well, or you'll get extra paid things. So yeah. I'm on long-term sick at the moment, and my company have been phenomenal. Still feel bad about it. Going back soon. I'm really glad you're feeling better and you can go back to work, Tobin. That's good. That's good. Exciting. Yeah, it's the larger the company you work for, the easier it is for them to be good about you being on long-term sick. Because here in the UK, you don't get sick pay from the government. Well, it's never from the government actually, but it's so once you've been off for 4 working days, the company has to provide you with statutory sick pay, which is an amount that the government decides is the minimum they have to pay you. Some companies have policies that go above and beyond that. The larger the company, the more likely it is that they have policies that go above and beyond that. Just for context. Does the UK offer to buy PTO? We can buy 5 days on top of our normal days. Yeah, so it depends on the company you work for, Topopper, but there's like a realistic, amount that you have. I think roughly, depending on the company you work for, it will be 25 days plus all of the public holidays. I think something like that, or whatever. Depending on the company, it might be 21 plus the public holidays. But some companies will offer you the option to do like a salary sacrifice scheme to buy more days or to sell some days if you wanted to. Yeah, that does happen. I can buy or sell 5 each year. Exactly, JQ. Yeah. My company pays 6 months sick pay. Shame people abuse it. I mean, if people need to use it, they need to use it, right? It's impossible to say whether someone's abusing it or not. It's really difficult to say that because you don't know what people are going through. So, yeah. Yeah, cool. Right, okay. Back to the build anyway. Interesting asides. But yeah, it's significantly more expensive to do business here in the UK than it is in the US. Right, it's just about time for soldering, which means it's time for you guys to see if you can ask the best question. Telvin, I know you've won a Decimat in the past, and I'll give it to you when you come for the open day. I think I owe someone one from last week, and I've completely forgotten who it was, but I will go back and check that and ship it out tomorrow. But yeah, we will give away a Decimat to whoever comes up with the best question. All you need to do is tag me with @jprototypist and let me know what you would like my thoughts on. Any question will do. Any question is good enough. I'm more than happy to answer any question about any topic. It does not have to be keyboard related, but I'll let you put your questions in chat whilst I just check for bent pins, make sure all of the pins are nice and straight, and that we are ready to solder this keyboard. Okay, that looks good. Okay, every switch looks good. We are ready to solder. Just make sure I put my tools together. Time to have some time off then, absolutely. Okay, we have power for the soldering iron. It's caught up on my shoes. Okay. Just going to tack in a couple of switches in the center just to make sure everything stays lined whilst I'm doing the rest of the soldering. We'll just do one actually. There we go. Okay, question from Jehovah. He says, Jay, what would you say is the most challenging interaction you've had since starting PT? We've had some really challenging interactions with some suppliers recently. Well, not recently, over the years. And I think that's often really difficult to come through on. If I had to pick one, it would be I'm not going to say who it is, but it will be it's a keyboard company that's gone bankrupt, and that's all I'll say. Keyboard company that's gone bankrupt, and just trying to get information out of them and trying to help them prior to them going bankrupt, for it all to fall on deaf ears and for them to not actually open up and allow us to help try and save them, because they're too, I don't know if proud's the right word, but they're too stoic, or they're unable to give up a level of control to help. It makes it really difficult sometimes to have that conversation with people, and yeah, I think that's probably the most challenging thing to deal with, when they're aware that it's going badly and you're like, well, let me help so that you can ultimately either pay me back or provide value for what you owe me for, and they're just not able to accept that help. Becomes a really challenging conversation sometimes. That's usually the hardest thing, I think. Some very delicate soldering here because there's a lot of pins off the USB port. Fortunately, my team are complaining that I'm integral to the project despite me trying to upskill them for 9 months. Hey, at least you're indispensable, Mr. Reed. And that means they'll struggle to get rid of you. You are creating value from your position. You have value, you have opportunity, and you have means. It may feel frustrating in some respects, but it's also good in others. Okay. There we go. Sounds like company's problem, not yours. Maybe. Does it rhyme with shoe bed? No. It's just difficult to have conversations with people sometimes, because they don't want to talk about the fact that they're failing, and they don't want to open up about that, and it makes it really, really hard to have those conversations. I mean, I have difficult interactions almost every day based on different things. You know, sometimes what we do for a customer they don't see as the right thing, even though it's what it's what our policy is or whatever. Other times it can be with suppliers. Other times it can be with potential customers. Other times it can be, internally, where we have a disagreement and things like that. There's all sorts of things that can be difficult. But the key thing is to always make sure you're treating others fairly and acting with integrity. And that's not always the easiest thing to do. In fact, it's never easy to do, but it's something to try and do. And it's always something I aspire to be doing. I absolutely fail at that, but I always try to aspire to that. I know some people who absolutely nail it consistently, but for me, it's always something I'm working on. I saw a website comment on a keyboard-related product that said that the keyboard community is the weirdest community of them all. Okay. I haven't read any further yet, but that doesn't sound too untrue. I think some people in keyboards can be quite strange and unusual and have certain types of opinion. That's fine. Weirdest community of them all due to their quirks over arguing over infinitesimal things such as a switch or keycap feel. Okay. Or even bring out the most peculiar of individuals, their sense of entitlement and people's willingness to wait years for a product. What say you? I think that... Okay, so what I think is people who have quirks like that, and I use quirks as in bracket. Let's say quirks. I was just soldering, so I couldn't put the air quotes up. They're passionate people. I think hobbies breed passion, and I don't think passion is a bad thing in any shape or form. And if someone's got a strong opinion on something, it means they're passionate about it. Whether that's ISOs included in something, or whether a switch should be lubricated or not. If they feel passionate and empowered enough to share their opinion, I don't think that makes them weird. I think that just makes them an enthusiast, right? You can take that to any hobby, and I just think it makes them an enthusiast more than anything. You take it to cars. There's a lot of people when you're restoring classic cars, they think you should do it nut and bolt as it came from the factory. Other people think you should restore them to how you want them to be. Other people think you should make them supercars. It really depends, but I think it just makes people passionate, and it just means that people are passionate about something. So, and I think that should be encouraged overall. I think there's a line where people start to insult others and to create negative value that shouldn't be crossed. But I think people being passionate about something is something that should be embraced overall. Hope that makes sense. The silver TKL looks nice. Thanks, man. It's a Cloudline V2 stainless steel edition. It's really lovely. I love you all. I feel passionate enough about beige and ISO to tell other people and find each other. Nice. Okay, that's probably the best question so far. Has anyone got one that can top that? If not, super hands, you're in for the running. It's a good question. Quirks make us beautiful, right? You know, the beauty's in the details. It's not in the everything looking the same camp. It's not in the, you know, it's not in the normal stuff. Beauty's in the details. Beauty's in the quirks. Beauty's in the oddities that people have. If everyone liked the same stuff, it'd be a really, really boring world. If we all had exactly the same taste in everything, there'd be no innovation. There'd be no need to innovate. The whole reason why there is diversity is because people have differences of opinions. Do you think this new A-hype timeline we live in fit in with PT in the hobby? Does AI fit in with PT? In some ways, we use AI for certain things. Like it's good when I'm trying to learn how to code in Shopify, doing some vibe coding and stuff like that. It's good for that. It's good for getting it to analyze data or to take a report and give me some bullet points out of it. So we use AI for things like that. We don't really use it for anything product related. We don't use it for anything design related. So, you know, I have limited exposure to those, and we don't use it for anything video related either, really. Just creation of like understanding information and Cliff Notes versions of reports and updates and things, especially when I get a big 265 page PDF from UPS on shipping details, and I need a little summary to tell me what's relevant to PT as a business and what's not, rather than read the whole thing. It's great for that, but no. Thinking of the previous Mictland story, will there be enough data from all the runs to present so future investments can be adjusted to never have a project end in a negative? So I think it's impossible to not have some projects end in a negative, because you get to a point where a project hasn't made MOQ, and then you have a choice of either refunding people and still making a loss, but a lesser loss, or just making the product anyway and keeping people happier and creating something even though you're going to make a loss on some money. So there's no way of predicting what products are going to be, or there's not enough information out there yet to predict what products are going to be successful and what are not before you sell them. That's just all gut feel, and I think it will be for a long time, especially in this hobby, as styles and tastes and trends change. But sometimes making a loss is an endeavor you take to provide value to a community, right? There are other reasons than hitting MOQ to make a product, rather than cancel it, you know. If everyone liked the same stuff, the porn industry would be ruined. Yeah. Would you recommend someone to find a career in the hobby? I think you should enjoy what you do. You should enjoy what you do for work. I think when you try and make your hobby into your work, you can lose a lot of love for the hobby that you might have once had. I find it sometimes hard to get excited about certain products that a couple of years ago I would have been dead excited for, because I see similar products day in, day out, okay? That doesn't mean the product's any greater or any less, and it doesn't mean that past me wouldn't have really enjoyed it. It just means that current me is inundated with, you know, that thing or that style or whatever it might be. So I think you should do a job that you enjoy. I think that you need to go into, if you're going to turn your hobby into a job, you need to go into it eyes wide open. I don't know if I could go back, if I would do PT again. Like, if I could go back to the day I registered the company and give myself the choice of doing it or not, I'm not sure I'd do it. So maybe that will help you. How do I typically deal with stress? I'm the sort of type of person that generally tends to thrive on stress. Certain types of stress anyway. Deadlines make me more active, I think is a very, very fair statement. Crunch brings out the best of me. I thrive in difficult delivery situations professionally, and one of the key features of my old role was that I did was if shit had hit the fan, I was generally brought in to fix the shit. That was where my skill set really shone through strongly. So how do I deal with stress? I don't know. Like I turn it into, I generally channel it into production, to being productive, and to creating opportunity. There's some types of stress that I'm terrible with. Like, I think there are many different types of stress, and there's some types of stress that I'm terrible with. And there's some types of stress that I don't deal with well at all. But in professional circumstance, most of it, I try to turn it into an opportunity. And I think trying to see what the opportunity is often the hard part, or trying to see where the path lays out of it is the hard part. But yeah, that's what I try and do with stress. Don't do what I did and move away from the core enjoyment and shift towards business and management. That happens. Serious question. As a fellow ADHDer, what's your top tip for managing and thriving with your ADHD in a business context? I think my top tip is probably unhealthy, Telvin. My top tip is that I don't ever switch off. And I don't think this is a good thing for many, many people, especially those with ADHD. It's my way of dealing with it. I'm not saying it's right. I'm not saying it's wrong, but I don't think it's particularly healthy. And that's because I flip and flop between things quite quickly. Like I can be involved in, let's take work out of the equation. I can be in the middle of putting up a shelf for my wife, and I will see that the wall fixings I've got have got some crud on them, so I need to clean them before I do it. So I go over to the sink to rinse these off under the tap, and I notice the washing up needs doing, so I do the washing up. And whilst I'm doing the washing up, I realise that we've run out of dishwasher tablets. So the next thing I know, by trying to put the shelf, I'm at the shop. Okay, that's kind of like how my mind works generally when I'm moving around the workshop and doing things. And you probably see that, and you probably get that from my Instagram stories if you watch those. So the way I handle that is I'm just present a lot more. Like the more hours I spend here at the workshop, the more I get done, and the more that doesn't necessarily have an impact on things. What I do have is I also have a very good ability to hyper focus at will. But once I'm in that focus zone, nothing else is getting done. Like that's it. It's like I've taken half a ton of modafinil because I am absolutely in that zone and I'm not leaving it until the job's done. So I can force myself to do that, but when I do it, it's like it has to be a really conscious effort. I don't know if either of those things speak to you, Telvin, but yeah, I don't think it's particularly healthy that I do that. My top tip for you would be to find out where your skills lie in terms of how you manage things. And for some people that's lists, for some people that's writing things down, for some people that's visualizing things. I use my Instagram stories for this as well, very cathartic, to go through in the morning and say, right, I'm here at the workshop, I'm going to do this and this and this and this. Those are going to be the things I tackle today. And speaking about it and giving someone a plan helps me achieve that. Hope that helps. Probably doesn't, probably makes it worse, but I hope it helps. When I look at other vendors, I don't see much of them streaming. Were there any skills you learned from streaming or running PT you applied to the other, or vice versa, or do you just do it for fun? I've been streaming longer than I've been a vendor, Eamon. I've been streaming keyboard stuff since 2015, so 10 years now. I used to do it under the J Keebs channel a long time ago, and then I was part of Top Clack, which was a podcast about keyboard group buys each week. And from there, I became a vendor, and then I started streaming under Prototypist brand as well as the Top Clack brand for a little bit until Top Clack became defunct in 2020, and then I've just streamed under the Prototypist brand. In terms of skills, I treat these as almost like mini project meetings in a way. Like, here's a new product and we're going to talk about it today, and we're going to do this and this and this, and this is how you assemble it. And I kind of, in my mind, I have them as almost like product run meetings in a way, in a weird sort of way. There's not many crossover skills from streaming to vendoring because they're very, very different. Streaming and talking to you guys is a catharsis exercise mainly for me. I do it because I enjoy it, and I like to share information with people, and I like to get, you know, information out there and show people product and show people cool things. I want people to come to the workshop to see a ton of cool things. Like, I just want people to see cool stuff all the time. That's why I stream ultimately. The reason I'm a vendor is because I want to serve a community. So yeah, I mean, I'm sure there's other soft skills that do translate, like speaking to you guys on here probably helps when we have customers come into the workshop, for example, but I don't know anything in particular. If you hadn't started PT, would you have started a different company or done something else entirely? I feel like if I hadn't started PT, I would probably still be in program management, maybe not with Lloyd's, maybe somewhere else, but something like that. Yeah, definitely get that vibe in your stories. Jay, you're describing me. Stop, it's scary. Hey, you have ADHD. Have you tried making a list? I know it's stereotypical, but like, it does help a lot of people. I mean, my plan is writing down and checking off his dopamine habit. Exactly, right? It's not the writing it down that does it. It's the ticking it off sometimes that does it, yeah. Current Gem Beard. J Beard utterly trumps J Keeps Beard. Thanks, man. I appreciate it. How do you keep from getting burned out on keyboards? I'm starting to feel the burnout a little. Dude, like... How do I stop it? I don't think I do. I don't think I even try or attempt to try and stop it. I am tenacious and I persevere, and burnout is cyclical. It's peaks and troughs of emotions and lack of dopamine responses to certain stimulus, and those dopamine responses will come back eventually. So just keep going, right? That's how my mind works. Like, this used to work. Oh, it works again. It stops working. It used to work. Oh, it's working again. That's kind of how I see it. My personality is that when I feel burnt out, I just double down. Go harder, go faster, do more. Again, not healthy, not right for a lot of people. Don't copy me, don't do what I do, because it's probably not good at all. But if I'm feeling burnt out, if I'm getting to a stage where I'm burnt out, I double down, go harder, go faster, do more. And that's just my way of dealing with it. And eventually the dopamine high comes back, and then it peaks off, and then it goes down, and it comes back, and it's just an up and down all the way. So yeah. Pick up a cheap hobby. That's a good one, yeah. Jay will notice from my purchase history that I'm retracting a little from the hobby, but every now and then something shows a tip in the form of a new cap or set, and so I keep getting sucked back in. Yeah, I don't follow any particular person's purchase history at all. That just feels so intrusive to me, so I never look at that. I'm sure I could, but I don't. And I try not to be able to link people's Discord names or internet handles to real life accounts. There's some that where I'm friends with people where it's impossible not to know the details there, but I try not to for the vast majority. So unfortunately, super friends, I do with you, but I haven't ever looked at your purchase history, and I don't really keep track of every single purchase that's made on the store. I don't go, ooh, look at that order, look at that as they're coming through. Like, I just don't have the time to do that, and I'd probably be constantly watching, waiting for the next order if I did do that. Like, if I did get into that, like, that's just how my mind would go. So yeah, but it's easy to get sucked back in. Like, I lose the love of something, and then, you know, all of a sudden something will trigger and I'm instantly there and back at it again. So, you know, this is often with the cars. Like, the winter months come and I don't really want to work on the classic cars because it's cold and stuff like that. And then the summer months come and, oh my god, I could be out driving today and I could take a long lunch and go for a drive and take one of the classic cars out, and, you know, mine picks up. So yeah. Yeah, my consent. I'm not going to look at it, but thank you. Any news about the Jane V3 Dolch? That's all going to be handled through KLC, I believe, VJ. I feel the same. There are too many good keycaps and keyboards coming out, getting burned out with too many good choices, if that makes sense. I mean, that's not a bad way to get burned out, right? Oh, I just can't keep up with all these cool things. That's a good way to feel burned out, I think. Right, okay, so soldering is finished. let's carry on with the build. Super Hens, I think you win. So if you are coming to the open day, come and claim your prize. If not, drop me an email and I will fix you up. And tell Vin I know I owe you a Desmat, and I'll check who I owe a Desmat from last week. And get, in fact, no, I know who it is. It was Jehovah, and I have got your Desmat. I'm sure I have. I'm sure it was Jehovah last week because I have a box waiting for PCB behind you. And Jehovah as well. I want to show you this. You asked me for one of the Blue Ridge EC conversion plates, and I have obtained one for you. So there you go. This will be in your package and shipped out to you. I think you have everything else you need. I will double check, and yeah, I'll make sure that you get this when your next order ships. So yeah. Next time, just order what you need, dude. Order what you need. Right, okay, we can get rid of the mat now. And it's time to assemble the keyboard into the case. Oh no, the case is stuck. There we go. So I'm going to flip this over and pop that into there like so. Oh, actually, we can do this slightly differently. Like what are we doing, Jay? What are you doing? What are you doing? What are you doing? That's wrong. Okay, so we're going to pop that in just like so. Make sure it's all square and nice and neat, and then we're going to drop the top case down, and then we can put the screws back in for the case. Wrong screwdriver, correct screwdriver. Just dropped the screw on the floor. I'm going to have to go find that in a second. I thought it wasn't going onto the screwdriver very well, but I just dropped it on the floor, so I'm going to have to go scavenge that in a second. Well, we'll have more of the Rubrehakus in stock very soon. They're available at our Keyboards and Coffee event on Thursday, and they'll also be available at our meetup on Saturday coming, the 8th of November. That's going to be here at the PT workshop. There's the screw. Can't help but get burnt out unmotivated more and more in my uni course. Something I used to be super interested in a few years back when I started. Any word of advice from you? Try and remember what encouraged you to do it in the first place, and try and re-find that love for it. It's easier said than done, but when you're making a decision for what you're studying at uni, that doesn't have to be what you do for the rest of your life, right? Like, I know people who've got degrees in a million different things and do something completely different to what their degrees in. So, you know, there's lots of options out there for you. But try and remember what made it great in the first place. Why did you choose that? See if that helps bring some spark back to it. Or look at it from a different angle. Try and find a new spin on it. There's often options out there. I'll ping to pin stuff in my thesis order. Okay, cool, yes. Take a breather, but remember your uni course is time limited. Yeah, you won't be there forever. Absolutely, yeah. Got any tips for a warped alu plate? I've got a JO2 one causing me grief. If you've got a warped aluminium plate, it depends on how badly it's bent. You're going to want to try and flatten it, and that's really difficult to do because aluminium has a plasticity that's unreliable. So it depends on how bent it is. That's probably a good one for Discord. Send some pictures on Discord and tag me tomorrow when I'm at work and I'm actually awake, because I'm still half asleep right now, and I will see if I've got any tips based on what it looks like for you. Right, I'm just going to load up a switch hitter and we'll check to see if the Rubrehaku works. Okay, we have lights underneath the heart, which is nice. Okay, all working there. Working there, caps lock's working. This may not work. Oh, it does, okay. ISO working out of the box, excellent. Usually we have to recode those keys. Okay. All looking good so far. That should be FN, and it is. There we go. Everything working. Excellent. Excellent, excellent, excellent. Great. Cool. Okay, so next job is to put some keycaps on the board, which means we need to do a quick poll. I'm not sure if there's any mods watching, so I'll do the poll. So if you are a mod and you are watching, don't worry about it. I'll give you guys a break this week. Remember the name of the sets, it would help. Okay. And the poll is now up, so you can pick which keycaps we're going to use on the board today. Now you have two choices. You can either have DCS Deadbeats. This is a DCS version of the Rubrehaku key set that came out first. So DCS Deadbeats is choice 1. Or choice 2 is GMK Rubrehaku, which we also have the base kit and the Nordic UK kit, so you can have UK keys on. So those are your two choices. We're going to put one of them on the board here. So yeah, get your votes in, guys, and let me know what you'd like to see on the board. Cute watch, thank you. I've had it a little while. It's a lovely watch. Enable the noises, glorp. Wait, what? Enable the noises? What? What noises? I'm in design, and constantly having to be more creative is killing me. Let's not talk about killing, first of all. I'm not into that. But you don't have to be constantly creative in new ways. You can be innovative, and you can expand on previous ideas. You can be refining things. That's all part of being a designer. So look at it that way. This build has me hyped for the Mocha Kohaku with GMK Pompeii Ashes base. Nice, yeah. Would you be able to use the extra accents for Rubrehaku? Yes, I do have them somewhere, but I have dropped them, I believe, or moved them. Where did they go? Here they are. So these are the additional accent keys. We can absolutely put these on there if we wanted to. I'm probably not gonna. I'm just gonna keep these to one side, but we'll just use the base kit. But these did come with the boards. They don't come with the in-stock ones, but they did come with the group buy ones. The OG Rubrehaku set was Deadbeats. Yeah, I can't see the poll. Oh yeah, most people are going for GMK. Okay, interesting. Interesting. Someone's using points though, because there's only 100 viewers and there's 200 votes. So yeah, interesting. Sorry for that. It's okay, dude. It's fine. Just, you know, certain things shouldn't be discussed on stream. But yeah, on Switch hitter. Wait, what? Enable the noises on Switch here. Oh, yeah, I don't want... I think it does play the noises when I do it on my PC, but that doesn't carry over to the Twitch audio. But Switches is really cool. Redeem Stretch. Thank you, Talbot. That's a good idea. I should probably do that. I am very stiff, actually, after... I wasn't this morning, but as the day's gone on, I've got a little bit stiffer after the hike yesterday. I was the least fittest of the three of us. Let's put it that way. The 2U key and the extra key. I think you mean this one. It says Lena, Lena. These are actually they're not technically Rubrehaku additional keys. This is KLC's pack of freebies from their meetup that they did, SKCM. So that's what they are. Soul Expo kit. So it's from the Soul Keyboard Expo. There you go. But they just came with the Rubrehakus. Stiff, yeah. Oh, it's getting close though. Deadbeats is getting close to Rubrehaku here. Interesting. Hey Fruit Gummy, thanks for being here. I like the little Pokemon. That's a Pikachu. I ran out of channel points. Fair. What were you voting for, Mr. Bezic? What were you voting for? I think Rubrehaku is going to win this. I can't see Deadbeats coming back though, although it's only 20% points in it. There's some big numbers being thrown out. I'm going to drop a vote for Deadbeats just because I have a vote. Deadbeats because it was losing. Fair. Fair. I get that. Vote for the loser. You ran out as well. I think it's a done deal now. I think Rubrehaku is going to win. Mr. Burnett, why you can resub Fruit Gummy. That's absolutely a choice of yours to make. You don't have to. You'll still get the same great content even if you don't. Can someone go all in on DCS at the last second? There's not long left. There's only 30 seconds or so left. I can't see Deadbeats winning now. I really can't. I really can't see it. It would be a unique situation if that happened. But I'm hoping we make the decision soon, and it's not a tie, and we have to do another one because I really need some sleep. Rubrehaku has won. Excellent. Okay, we have a winner. So I'll put Deadbeats to one side. Okay, let's get the keycaps on the board. I'm just going to put the UK keycaps on first in order UK kit. We are going to go for Alt GR because I really like that. Oh, actually, do you know what? No, we won't use that. Actually, screw me. We don't use that. Oh, we could use the Q at key from the German set. I think we will do that actually, and we'll use the M mu key as well. There's the 3 key. We're not going to use the blue row, so don't need those. I'm really tempted to use that 2 key though. And then we need that to go there. And that to go there. And then I just need a pipe key here. I think I'm going to use the M mu key if I can find it, with the little mu symbol on it. Why can I not find it? Am I just... Oh, it was the last one I turned over. There we go. Just because I like those keys. 25,000 points. 250 votes. Why not half and half? No, I don't want to mix half and half. Okay, there we go. That's UK ISO keys that we need, plus a couple of German ones, just for funsies, because why not? And that means we can then put the rest separate. Keep the order UK kit separate. I know I've used the slightly incorrect too. I just really like the legend on that one, so that's why we're going to use that one. I've got both legends on. There's also the £3 key with there. It's got the hash pound symbol there, and it's got the pound logo here, that I really like. And I think if I was in charge of things, I'd probably make that the standard UK one. But I'm not in charge of things, and I would get stabbed if I did that. Someone would have something to say about that, I'm sure. Wait, did I put the wrong space button? Yeah, I did. That's the 6.25 one. There we go. Cool. So need that. Let's keep. I think there's an excellent ISO answer. I think I might be wrong. We'll use backspace in blue, and there it is. That's the one I wanted to use. Look at this. Look how cool this is. What a great keycap. So we're going to use that. That's the one I want to use. Right. Okay. I think we'll maybe limit it to 1 or 2 options down here for colors, and the rest we'll just go with what we see. Don't need that shift, we don't need that backspace, we don't need that super, we don't need numpad, don't need that. Maybe we'll do something fun down here. Maybe we'll just do 1 fun pink. We've got 1 green, 1 blue, 1 pink, and we just need 1 purple. So if there's a purple escape key, we'll use that. There we go. Just a little bit of fun. The only other color we haven't used is the red. I think we'll try and put a red key here if there's an option for that. There we go. Okay, cool. Right, we are done with accent keys. Oh, we haven't used the yellow one. Let's just not use the yellow one. Let's decide not to use the yellow one. So we can get rid of the accent keys now, and then the rest is just going to be beige. I'm holding a hobby knife right now, just saying. You're a long way away though. Those pinks are glorious. Yeah, they're really nice. It's a little bit bright on the stream lights than it is actually in real life. It's a tiny bit brighter, but not by much. When I first saw this pink, I was actually tempted to do like a pink highlighter set with it, but I think someone else is already doing that, so I have not progressed with that idea. But if that doesn't happen, I may do. Okay, we don't need numlock, we don't need any more novelties, we need caps lock, stepped caps lock can go there. There we go, that's gonna go there, right. Don't need F keys. L there, it's gonna go on 6 goes up here. Got our control key, don't need the escape, don't need the escape, don't need the numpad enter. Okay, we do need page down. We'll work out what rows we need for that in a second. I'll just keep all the page up and page downs to one side, and we'll figure that out in a minute. Oh, I thought I'd scraped that on the case, then I didn't. Doesn't equals, we don't have that. We need alt there. Don't need those. Stepped caps, we've already got one. Don't need a blank. We're going to go with bars because I found a bar before we found a scoop, so we'll go for that. Don't need M because we've already got it. Colon 11J. Square brackets we need both of. Don't need F3, don't need that, don't need that. Don't need those, don't need that. Do need that though. Need short left shift. Left arrow. Progress now. Haven't seen the tab key yet, that's slightly frustrating. Okay. Need FN for there. Down, we'll figure out in a second. Need 3. I am speedrunning because bed is calling me. Yes, sorry, I'll catch up with chat in a second, but I am super tired, and my bed is calling me. I definitely don't need that one. Yeah, okay. F. There's the other F. Don't need that or that. Don't need that. Don't need that. Don't need that. I'm still looking for the tab key. Just like worried. Oh, there it is. I always get worried when I don't see a key until last second. There's the I key. Right, we need the closed curly bracket now. There it is. Still not fairly up arrow as well. There it is. Okay, and then we need that page up and that page down. Yeah, that one. There we go. Excellent. There we go. We have the keyboard ready. Right, let's catch up with chat. Okay. Let's catch up with chat while we admire this beautiful, beautiful Rubrehaku. Let's catch up. Can we put Jay in charge of things? Sure. Feel free. Is pink your favorite color? Pink. I love pink. Like, pink is one of my favorite colors. I have pink jumpers and pink shirts and pink watches, and yeah, I love pink. I think it's a great color. Had a good rest of your stream. Got to go finish the Living the American Dream for today. Good luck, man. On camera, the pink looks as bright as Flare and Hyvies. It's not quite as bright as it looks here, but it's still very, very bright. Like it's quite luminous. You can see it in real life next week, yeah, if you come into the open day. Let's go bars. I'm interested to see what the switches sound like. I've never tried them before, so yeah. Oh, Moshif said, can you share about the SPC club? I can, yeah. The SPC, if you are a Twitch subscriber, you can join the SPC, which is a hidden channel on the Prototypist Discord, amongst other things. Or you can sub through Ko-fi as well. That's the other way of getting access to it. And it's just a specific group for people who support us through subscribing, basically. So yeah. Which collab do you prefer, the Haku or the Jane? I like both for different reasons. I couldn't pick between the two. Yeah. SPC is a great group of people. SPC is probably the single biggest thing that I'm proudest of in the hobby, and it's not even something that I did, it just happened. So yeah, it's my single greatest achievement is turning that feature on. Who knew? Right, but here is the board. Here is the the Singa Kohaku Rubrehaku rubber hose edition, wearing GMK rubber hose with a couple of the accent keys, and beige has never looked so good. Look how good beige looks. Super, super nice. Everything all matchy. Super, super cool. I'm really happy with that. Don't know how many people will be at the PT meetup. 3 figures. Maybe. It depends on how many people turn up for how many people bought tickets. We've sold just under 150 tickets, I think. Whatever's left, which I think was 9 at the start of the stream, something like that. It's 150 minus that, so there's like 140 tickets sold, something like that. Looks so good. Should we see how this sounds? Because I think it looks fantastic. Just pause the music. I know it's on quietly, but we'll pause it. Shout out Elaine, man. Yeah, I've been shouting out Singa all night. That's literally what we've been doing on stream. Oh god, that sounds good. I do love carbon fiber. I love how it sounds so poppy. Sounds so good. I really would love to see what this sounds like with the new Gateron smoothie switches, and I think they'd be really good. I do have a spare PCB and a second build that I'm going to do for this. Probably not in time for the open day in the meetup, but I would love to see that on bless me. I would love to see that on an alu plate, which is the other plate that I have. I think it sounds so poppy. It's great. It looks so good. Beige has never looked so good.
Tasty,
it's a great build. Thank you. And thank you so much for the 2 months of subs, dude. I thoroughly appreciate you. Clack sounds great. It sounds phenomenal. I love this already. What a great keyboard. It's going to be at the open day. This will be at the open day. You'll be able to type on it, and you will be able to buy one as well because we have extras. I just picked up a CF plate for mine that's being shipped. Should be here this week. Might do the old creams on Carbon Fiber Classic. Creams always sound great on Carbon Fiber, yeah. What a great keyboard. Sounds good. Looks good. ISO for the win. Excellent. I'm really excited to get you guys to see this. Sounds crisp, nice build. Worth waiting to see in here. Thanks for the stream as usual. Bedtime for me. Take care, man. Take care, David. Yeah, super happy with that. Right, okay. I know that I'm kind of ending the stream quite quickly here, but like I've had a really long weekend and I've got a really long week ahead. I need to go and make everything beautiful and lovely and amazing for you guys when you arrive at the open day here at PTHQ next weekend. We're only a week away now, which is scary, terrifying, and beautiful all at the same time. I'm gonna head off home, get some sleep. Follow on Instagram, Discord, and all of the other places because you'll see updates during the week. I'll be back here from first thing in the morning. Thank you so much for watching, guys. I miss you all already, and I'll see you again really soon. And I'm looking forward to seeing a ton of you next weekend when you come here to the open day. I can't wait for it. It's going to be super fun. Do hit me up on Discord if you need anything, or come and watch on Instagram the stories because that'll give you updates daily on what we're doing. And watch out for the stuff we're going to drop in stock, the games we're going to play for our 6th anniversary this week, and a few other things. So keep your eye on announcements. Take care, guys. Good night.